we find that Geulah Mitzrayim was done in 2 stages. Klal Yisrael was free to leave by Chatzos at night, and they didn't actually leave in the morning. Why is that? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do it in 2 stages? We have a Gemarah in Brochos, Daf Daled Amud Beis, where the Gemarah says a machlokes if smichas Geulah tefillah, if the Geulah that we mentioned in Kriyas Shema during Ma'ariv is also as important as the Geulah in the morning. And the Gemarah says that the machlokes is because since the Geulah, there was somewhat of a Geulah at night. Geulah me'orta nami have, there was also a Geulah at night. They were free to leave. It was somewhat of a Geulah. They were somewhat redeemed. Geulah me'al yisrael havi al safra, but the full Geulah didn't happen until the morning. And there's a Gemarah in Daf Tes Amud Aleph where the Gemarah discusses the machlokes of Eliezer ben Azariah and Rabbi Akiva, which is the machlokes of till when we could eat the Korban Pesach and Afikomen nowadays. And again, the Gemarah says that machlokes is also ultimately about this question about the importance of the Geulah at night versus the Geulah in the morning. These 2 Geulahs, Klal Yisrael were free to leave at night, so they were somewhat not avodim anymore. They weren't subjects of Mitzrayim, but they didn't actually leave until the morning. The Gemarah says, Tanya Nami Hachi, the Gemarah Daf Tes Amud Aleph in Brochos, Tanya Nami Hachi, Haitziach Hashem Elokecha mi Mitzrayim loyla, because Baruch Hu took you out of Mitzrayim at night. V'chi b'layla yotzu, they didn't leave at night. V'aloyla yotzu ela b'yayim shenema mi Brochos HaPesach yotzu b'nei Yisrael b'yad Rama, that they only left during the day. They only left betzim bayem hazeh. They only left during the day. Ela malamid she'eschila lehem Geulah mi b'erev. This teaches you, the pasuk is coming to teach you that the Geulah started at night. HaKadosh Baruch Hu started the Geulah at night, and ultimately Klal Yisrael left during the day. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do that? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do it in 2 stages? Why couldn't Klal Yisrael just be free to leave right away? I saw that Rabbi Yitzchak Isaac Cover in his Agodas, he explains that these 2 Geulahs, one is the Geulah Gashmi, which is when Klal Yisrael they were not subjects of Mitzrayim, they were free to leave that at by Chatzos. That's the Geulah Gashmi, but the Geulah Ruchni, when Klal Yisrael could leave Mitzrayim, that was the Ervis Haaretz, which was Mitzrayim was a place of so much tumah that only left when they ultimately left in the morning. So you have 2 Geulahs. Why is that? Why couldn't HaKadosh Baruch Hu do this all at once? Why was there 2 steps to the Geulah process? So I want to say like this: there's a Gemarah. The next Gemarah, Daf Tes Amud Aleph in Brochos, doesn't fit in. The only connection to the Gemarah before is that they're both about Yetzias Mitzrayim. But they don't really have much of a connection. It doesn't seem to follow. The Gemarah is a famous Gemarah. The Gemarah says, "Daber no ba'oznei ha'am." Again, Daf Tes Amud Aleph in Brochos, "Daber no ba'oznei ha'am. Ami deber Rav Yani ein no l'lashon bakasha." Amalem HaKadosh Baruch Hu LaMoshe, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe, "B'bakasha mimcha, I am begging you, ve'emer lahem Yisrael b'bakasha michem, and I'm begging you to beg Klal Yisrael that what shalom mi Mitzrayim, you should borrow from the Mitzrayim. Klal Yisrael should borrow from the Mitzrayim, klei chesed, klei zav, gold and silver, shlo yomer yiseh tzadik, that Avraham Avinu shouldn't have tinus, Avraham Avinu shouldn't be upset. Avraham Avinu shouldn't say that the part of the Havtacha that Klal Yisrael is going to end up in Gos Mitzrayim, that part HaKadosh Baruch Hu kept. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't keep a second part of his part of the deal, that and Klal Yisrael didn't leave with the Rechush Gadol. So therefore, make sure, I'm begging you to beg Klal Yisrael to that they should borrow from the Mitzrayim the Klei Chesed and Klei Zav. And here's the difficult part. The Gemarah fears us. Amru Loi, Klal Yisrael told him, Ulevai sheneitzei batzmeinu. We're not interested in Amoichel Tevis. Ulevai sheneitzei batzmeinu. If at least At least we should go out on our own. We don't need any riches. We don't need any klei chesed v'chleizov. Now the question is, Klal Yisrael went out with Rechush Gadol. When did this conversation happen? When's the ulavai sheneitz b'atzmeinu? Klal Yisrael turned down the klei chesed v'chleizov? Did it ever happen? What's the amru lo ulavai sheneitz b'atzmeinu? So the Maharsha explains that the Gemarah is a little bit out of order. Amru lo ulavai sheneitz b'atzmeinu is not what Klal Yisrael answered to Moshe Rabbeinu when he came begging that they should borrow from the Mitzrayim. Amru lo ulavai sheneitz b'atzmeinu is the explanation why HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to beg Moshe to beg Klal Yisrael to borrow the klei chesed v'chleizov. Why does he have to beg? Why shouldn't Klal Yisrael be happy to do it? Klei chesed v'chleizov, why shouldn't they be happy for it? The reason is because HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew that they would be not interested in borrowing, because they would just want to just get out of there. So the Amru Lo Ulavai Sheneitzu B'atzmeinu is the reason. It's like if we would say Sheyomru Lo Shelo Yomru Lo Ulavai Sheneitzu B'atzmeinu. That's how the Maharsha explains the Gemarah. It's a little bit out of order and it's a little bit dachuk. But also, the Gemarah adds a mashal. And the mashal has the same problem. Again, it's not rectified in the mashal either. Mashal Adam Shahaya Chavish Beis Asurim. This Gemarah, this conversation with HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Moshe could be compared with Moshe Rabbeinu and Klal Yisrael could be compared to a person that's stuck in jail. And people told him, we're going to take you out tomorrow, be Beis Asurim from jail, and they're giving you a lot of money. And the person answers, the person in jail answers those that told him that he's going out with a lot of money. I'm asking you, let me out today. I don't want any riches, just let me out of jail. So again, the Klal Yisrael's ulavai sheneitzu b'atzmeinu, Klal Yisrael's reluctance to even go for the klei chesed v'chleizov, Klal Yisrael's immediate concern of just leaving jail or leaving Mitzrayim seems to be what happened at the end. Seems to be even after Moshe Rabbeinu came and told them about the klei chesed v'chleizov. So maybe the Gemarah is actually coming to answer the question we started with. You know why? We just said that Geulah Mitzrayim, that Geulah Mitzrayim was in 2 stages. You know why HaKadosh Baruch Hu started off the Geulah at night, and then and ultimately Klal Yisrael left Mitzrayim in the morning? It's because of this conversation. Klal Yisrael came. Moshe Rabbeinu told Klal Yisrael that Daben Abaz Ne'am B'Vakoshem Imchol Go Shalom Mitzrayim Klei Chesed V'Chleizov. And Klal Yisrael said, Ulavai Sheneitzu B'atzmeinu. Which means Klal Yisrael said, Klei Chesed V'Chleizov is fine, but we're here in Mitzrayim, we're Avadim, we want to just leave. We're not interested. Ulavai Sheneitzu B'atzmeinu was actually what Klal Yisrael said. And that's why the only way that the Haftacha to Oisei Tzadik, the Haftacha to Avraham Avinu, that Klal Yisrael is going to be Yetzu Brochos Gadol, the only way that could be done is only if Klal Yisrael will be freed. They'll have the Ulavai Sheneitzu B'atzmeinu, but they'll still stick around in Mitzrayim. They were free. Now they're not so desperate, and now they could go and Shalu Klei Chesed V'Chleizov. Now they're fine. So the reason why HaKadosh Baruch Hu did the Geulah in 2 stages is because of this haftacha that Klal Yisrael would not be ready to do a klei chesed v'chleizov. They would not be ready to go borrow the gold and silver from the Mitzrayim until they're free. So first things first, HaKadosh Baruch Hu freed Klal Yisrael by Chatzos. And then for the next couple of hours, Klal Yisrael, they were free. And now they were ready to do the klei chesed v'chleizov. They were ready to do the to be shalu mi Mitzrayim klei chesed v'chleizov. And now the order in the Gemarah is very, very understood. It was actually happened. And that's why this Gemarah comes right after the Gemarah before, where the Gemarah introduced us this concept that the Geulah started at night and the Geulah finished in the morning. I just want to explain one more Gemarah Lefizeh. That the Gemarah, the next piece of Gemarah, Daf Tesam Beis in Brochos, where the Gemarah says Vayashilum, that Klal Yisrael, that Vayashilum, that they were forced to borrow. The Gemarah brings a machlokes if it's talking about the Mitzrayim were forced to give up their stuff, or if it's Bal Kocham the Yisrael, that Klal Yisrael had to be forced to borrow. And the Gemarah says, if the Klal Yisrael were forced to borrow, why should Klal Yisrael be forced to borrow? And the Gemarah says, Man dama Bal Kocham the Yisrael mishum masui. It has to be the reason is that they were just forced to take more. They had already taken a lot of stuff, and eventually it became so much, and they had to be forced to take even more. The question is, like the Marsha, that Ulevai Shenetze Batzmeinu was the reason why HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu to beg. So Ulevai Shenetze Batzmeinu was still around, that Svara still existed. So why did the Gemarah say, the next two lines, why did the Gemarah say, Vayashilom, Klal Yisrael had to be forced? You know why they had to be forced? Because even after Moshe Rabbeinu begged, they weren't so happy about borrowing Klei Chesed Klei Zav. And the only way to get them to borrow the Klei Chesed Klei Zav, which was ultimately forcing them, Vayashilum B'Kocham Yisrael. But the way we're explaining it, that couldn't have been the Gemarah. That couldn't have been their explanation of Vayashilum. Because the way we're explaining it, that problem, that the Klal Yisrael said Meichel Tevis, was only before HaKadosh Baruch Hu made Geulah in two stages. But once HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the Geulah in two stages, and they were free to leave by Chatzos, that's it. There was no svara of Ulevai Shenetze Batzmeinu. They were already free, and now they should have been happy to take as much as they can. So why weren't they happy to take it? What's the Vayashilum Bal Kocham the Yisrael? So now the Gemarah has to explain Bal Kocham the Yisrael Mishum Masei, that it was so heavy that they had already taken so much and they weren't ready to take even more. But the svara of Ulevai Shenetze Batzmeinu, the svara of I want to just get free, I want to just get out of here, and I'm not interested in any riches, golden riches. That svara, that reasoning did not exist anymore because HaKadosh Baruch Hu already Heschil Lam Geulah Mi'Ba'arev. He already took off the shibud of Mitzrayim, and the Mitzrayim already were not in control, and Klal Yisrael had nothing to fear. So, the reason is Mishum Masui.